In this video, I want to talk about this. This is what we call a squat wedge. And I initially purchased this to help rehabilitate my knees and strengthen them. But after using it for a while with some of my stretching routines, I realized it really helped loosen and strengthen my back. So I wanted to show you how I use this for my knees, because I know that's a problem a lot of grapplers have. And the next thing on the list, if not ahead of knee problems, is back problems. So I'll show you what I do to help my knees when it comes to using this for recovery to ensure that I can continue being strong with my Jiu-Jitsu and my Muay Thai and all my other martial arts and strength training. Okay, so let's start with the knees. Simply, you stand on the wedge, your toes, balls of your feet touch the ground, your heels are up elevated onto the squat wedge. And the way this strengthens your knees, the way people use wedges or squat planks and stuff like that, is that it pushes the knees forward when you squat. And that's the whole knees over toes philosophy when it comes to rehabilitating and strengthening your knees. I've mentioned in previous videos, you should check out Ben Patrick, the knees over toes guy. And this is a huge thing that he advocates for. So simply put, it's a squat wedge. So we squat on the wedge. You do a basic squat. This pushes your knees forward and your butt sits back, just like a regular squat, but your heels are elevated. Again, that's what drives your knees forward. So I'd suggest doing just some standard bodyweight squats, however many reps and sets that you want to do. But a really good one that helps for, again, strengthening your knees is a pulse squat. And that's what I do when I use the plank. I come down and I pulse and I come up. And that's 1 rep. You pulse, 2, 3, and so on. And I found that to really, beyond rehabilitating my knees, that has really helped strengthen my knees. Once you get good at the body weight stuff, you are free to add weights to it. Don't become obsessed with strength. This is not about holding on or squatting as much weight as you can when you're standing on a wedge. Just a moderate weight at the most. Lightweight regularly. So I prefer a kettlebell, and you just perform your squats. You can hold the bell out front in a goblet squat. You can do your pulse squat. So that is how I use this squat wedge to rehabilitate and strengthen my knees. Real fast, before I go into my squat routine on the squat wedge that I use to help my back, let's talk about X Martial real fast. If you look at the shorts that I'm wearing, these are from X Martial. I love X Martial. I really feel if you do Jiu-Jitsu or Muay Thai, you should really look at their swag. Their gear is top notch. Use the link in my description below or just go to xmartial.com. Make sure you use my discount code CrewFessorRad for an additional 10% off. All right, so when it comes to my stretching routine for my back on the squat wedge, again, my heels are elevated, my toes are on the floor. I start with the back arch. I covered this in one of my other videos about my daily routine, but my heels are flat on the floor. So we start with arching backward. I really do feel that with the wedge, I can really lean further into this arch as opposed to when I do it with my feet flat on the ground. Always palms in. While doing this stretch, just arch to your comfort level. Then I come forward. Touch your toes again to your comfort level. You may be able to get further down. When I first started, I think I was about here. This is a further stretch because your heels are elevated, but I like to get at least my fingers on the floor. And then lastly, just an Asian squat with my heels elevated. If you watch my Asian squat video, you'll remember that this is a way to ease into doing an Asian squat with your feet flat on the floor. So this is easier to do than when your feet are flat on the floor. So again, this routine is similar, of course, if you follow my channel, because this is part of my daily stretch routine. So I do this with my feet flat on the mat, but there are times that I like to use this wedge. If you are starting out, this wedge could be of great benefit to you. And then we go back to this stretch. I think this is called a pike, but basically just reaching down and touching the floor. Slowly move our way up. Back into our arch. I do that 2 or 3 times. It's very quick. That's a very small investment of your time to ensure that your back stays strong and loose for your jiu-jitsu. These squat wedges are available. This one I got from the glute guy, Brett Contreras' website, but I did check and he no longer sells these. But I did find a lot of options on Amazon. I'll make sure I put some links in the description below. But it's a pretty affordable piece of equipment. I mean, honestly, you could probably make this yourself. It's just a piece of foam cut. But as far as make sure you understand the measurements if you do that. If not, just purchase one of these squat wedges and I think it's really a good tool for you. Again, if you're dealing with some knee issues or some back issues when it comes to grappling or strength training or anything else in general. So I hope this is helpful. As always, please be sure to like and subscribe and we'll keep this thing going and we'll see you in the next video.